This is Lance Lee with another edition of Success in Japan for those that can. And today we're fortunate that we get to speak with Mr. Mark Schwab, who is Vice President of the Pacific region of United Airlines. Let's go talk with Mark.
How are you, Lance?
Fantastic.
Welcome. Good to see you here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me. Really.
Good to have you.
Yes. Mark, tell me a little bit about your background.
I grew up overseas, the son of an American diplomat, and so I spent many of my formative years outside the United States and really got hooked on living, experiencing culture overseas, and that's why I've tried to stay in the international arena. So picking United Airlines really was about being able to work for a large international company that offered me access to the entire world.
Mark, tell me, what first brought you to Japan?
Well, Lance, I've been living outside the United States for most of my life, but for the early part of my career, I spent almost all my time in Latin America. I then had an opportunity to work in Europe for a while, but I was really missing this part of the world. And so when United offered me the opportunity to come out here with our family, it was something that we thought we should jump at. And the 5 years that we've been here have been absolutely fantastic. First off, it's a fascinating place, and of course the culture will take me years to explore and to understand, and I'm busy doing that right now. But the lovely Japanese people, the wonderful politeness, the wonderful sense of warmth that we felt here, pretty quickly made us pass that initial stage that you feel very much like a foreigner here, because we all look different than everybody else here.
What do you like most about doing business here in Japan?
It is a very intimidating market to step into when one first arrives. Communication, of course, is an issue. Sometimes the pace of business is not what American companies would consider fast enough. You get a lot of resistance to change. But one of my greatest satisfactions really has been being successful here in the marketplace. And the way I've gone about it is making sure that I establish personal relationships with the people that I'm doing business with, make sure that I understand where they're coming from, but also in a nice American way, push hard for the things that we want to accomplish. And steady foot on the accelerator has been very successful for us. So we've been able to accomplish many things here, again, through some very difficult times in the business. But Japan is a very important part of our network at United, and fortunately it's doing very well right now. So we're on really lightning speed growth here, opening new routes, new marketplaces, been very busy, but that certainly has been one of the more satisfying parts of living here.
You are married, and you have children, right?
Yes, I'm married to a Venezuelan lady, Yoni, and I've been married 23 years now. We have two daughters who are flourishing here in Tokyo environment. One is 16 and a sophomore at ASIJ, and the other one is in middle school, a 7th grader, and so Laura and Caroline are doing fantastic here in Japan.
Now tell me, do you have siblings as well?
I am the oldest of 4. I have 3 younger sisters. My 3 sisters live in the United States. They also have some international flavor to them. 2 of them were born overseas, and so they also kind of enjoy this environment, but they happen to be living in the United States now.
And tell me a little bit about your mother and father. Are they both still living?
I'm very fortunate that my parents, both in their 80s, still have very good health, very active in their community, instilled in me a deep sense of community involvement. As I mentioned to you earlier, my dad was a diplomat, and my mother just a fantastic lady who was always supportive of him, supportive of all of us. Probably the best hostess for diplomatic events that I've ever seen, and I've learned a tremendous amount from them.
Mark, father and son relationship I know is very, very important. What type of relationship did you have with your father?
Well, of course, dads have strong influences on firstborn sons. That's in every culture. My father was a very strong person, very articulate person, terrific sense of humor, a great sense of integrity, and so I'd like to think that I learned a lot and adopted many of those traits from my dad. I can't match his great sense of humor, unfortunately. He's just a terrific storytelling type of guy. But he's one of those people who's been retired for 20-some years now, and the people that he worked with over his career still maintain close contacts with him. So to me, that's really emblematic of a person who connected with people wherever he went. And so my personal measure of was I successful in life, or have I been successful in life, is when I've kind of packed it all up and moved back into retirement, will I have maintained contacts with the people that I grew up with and worked with all around the world.
I understand that you're involved in one of the sister city programs they have here in Japan. Could you tell me a little bit more about that, Pat?
Sister City program is actually a fantastic program. It is a program that connects cities around the world that have something in common or don't necessarily have to have anything in common at all. But they are quasi-governmental organizations that work on stimulating cultural exchanges, business exchanges, governmental exchanges. And of course, an airline is the perfect venue for making sister city programs work because they move people back and forth. So I've been very involved with sister city programs in all of the cities that I've worked in. Most recently, I've been very active in the Osaka-Chicago sister city. So Chicago being our head office, Osaka an important marketplace. So I'm on the board of the sister city group in Osaka, and we organize at least one yearly symposium where either Japanese people go to Chicago or Chicago people come to Osaka for an exchange of ideas, better understanding each other, deepening the relationships between the cities. But really what it's doing, it's deepening the relationships and understandings between people.
Mark, this is a question I always ask everyone at the end of an interview. What do you consider success in Japan to be?
Well, clearly, as a business person, an American business person, bottom line success is one aspect of it. And so I have a clear objective in my own business life to make sure that I make my company profitable and successful here in Japan. But really, the success goes way beyond that. But to me, successful stay here would involve my family getting the most out of this experience, me having developed hopefully lifelong personal relationships with people here that I can take with me, experiences that will serve me in other jobs that I do sometime in the future. So I think success is measured in many different ways.
Thank you for watching another edition of Success in Japan. I hope you enjoyed the interview as much as I enjoyed it. Mark Schwab was very interesting. And oh, by the way, I better get my ticket and be on my way. And I look forward to seeing you on the next Success in Japan for those that can.